In this installment, we're going to be going over the NBA bets for Thursday, January 30th. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Thursday, January 30th NBA bet slate we got going on. But before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about that Patreon. Right now, we're at the homepage of the YouTube channel, currently at 9.08 thousand subscribers. This is the road to 10K, and we're well on our way because you guys are showing up each and every single day. If you're already subscribed, continue to like and comment. That helps the YouTube algorithm so we can grow to a much broader audience. All right. And speaking of that Patreon, Tuesday night was absolutely phenomenal here. We had hockey. We had a hockey parlay here, Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. That came through at plus 176. We had the Golden State Warriors. That was one of my main plays there. Even with Curry out, I loved the Warriors minus 9.5, and that cashed there. And then we also love the Atlanta Hawks there in that small slate. I told you guys that line was fishy, and they covered that number, losing, but they covered it right there. 4 points. We had a plus 6.5, so another win on that. So if you want winning plays here, you go to that description link provided down below. Get connected. You're getting access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes off 24/7. I'm so excited to announce I have partnered with BetStamp and SIGNUP Expert to provide you guys with an easier way to sign up with any sportsbook in your area. If you go to the link in the description down below, you will be directed to this page you see here. It automatically displays all available sportsbooks in your area plus their current promotions. For example, you could take the plays given in this video and apply it to any other sportsbooks you don't currently have and reap the rewards. Now let's get into the slate. First up, in Capital One Arena here, we have the Washington Wizards 6-40 going up against the LA Lakers 26-19. Looking at the current odds for this game here, we have the Lakers on the road as favorites, minus 275 on the money line, with the comeback of the Wizards here at plus 220. Point spread at a 6.5. Total points at 223.5. All right. No information as of right now on money line, point spread, or total. Looking at the injury report for these two teams, first starting off with the Lakers, Hood Schifino is out, Gabe Vincent game time decision, Dorian Finney-Smith game time decision, LeBron James game time decision, and Rui Hachimura game time decision. So we'll see. Got to pay attention to the injury report here for the Lakers as usual. And then for the Washington Wizards, all these guys are out. Alex Sarr is out. Their rookie, Malcolm Brogdon, is out. Marvin Bagley and Saddiq Bey are all out. So they're missing a lot of guys here. And on top of that, the Washington Wizards are on a 15-game losing streak. All right, 15 games. We're trying to figure when will they finally win. All right, and eventually they will. But this particular spot here, let's look at the fact that they just played. They played about 8 days ago. The line was the Lakers minus 13.5. Lakers at home covered that number, and the total's at 227. Usually that would hit, but this particular game here, Wizards couldn't score over 100 points. They only put up 88 points, and the total went under 227.5. All right. They corrected it here with the Lakers on the road. Lakers are now 6.5 point favorites, and the total dropped down by 4 points because this is one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they're forced to play catch up. All right, so but this particular matchup here, I think that the Wizards will be able to score at least 100 points. I like the total to be opposite here. I like the over on the 223.5. Looking at how they corrected that total, they didn't act too drastically because the number flipped so much. All right, that first game only was 199 points. That's a huge discrepancy of what came out for Vegas here, and they only dropped it down 4 points. All right, now we have it just loaded up right now. Public bet percentage here, 92% of the bets, 98% of the money, all over the Lakers. For the point spread, and this is where we can get the value, 83% of the bets on the side of the Lakers. That's the public. And then we have 51% of the money on Washington to cover a 6.5. That's the sharps here. 51% they are on the trusting the Wizards. All right, that's tough. That's tough. But that would be a sharp play. All right. Total points here, 73% of the bets, 74% of the money towards the over 223.5. That's my confident side. All right. So my most confident play here is over 223.5. All right. My least confident is the spread. And we got sharp money here on the side of the Wizards. It's a tough team to trust here, and this would be a second game of a back-to-back. This Wizards team just played on a Wednesday, and let's double check this. And I know they lost. Let's double check on the record or the score. All right, so on Wednesday, where we at? Wizards. Yeah, they got blown out. They got blown out by 24 points against the Raptors at home. All right, this is the second game of a back-to-back. This is a team that's been struggling. 6.5 spread on the road. As with the Lakers as road favorites, and the Lakers kind of got embarrassed against the Philadelphia 76ers. I think that's bait. We're going to go with the Lakers to cover the 6.5. The reason why I say that's bait is because we have a Lakers team that was playing much better basketball here. And then everyone was all over the Lakers to cover against the 76ers with no Paul George, no Andre Drummond, no Joel Embiid. And they lost by 14 points. And they're thinking that you can trust the Wizards. You can't trust the Wizards, man. I don't think this is the game that they surprise people, all right? So, most confident play, over 223.5. Secondary play, Lakers minus 6.5. In FedEx Forum here, we have the Memphis Grizzlies 31-16 going against the Houston Rockets 32-14. Looking at the current odds for this matchup here, marquee matchup, Grizzlies home favorites minus 185 on the money line with the comeback of the Rockets at a plus 150. Point spread set at 4.5. Total points at 236.5. Full game public bet percentage here. No information as of right now on the money line, but I can imagine, looking by the point spread, that there should be probably a lot of public and sharps on the side of the Houston Rockets. All right, for the point spread, 59% of the bets on Houston, 71% of the money on Houston to cover that 4.5. For the total points, 63% of the bets, 64% of the money towards the over 237.5. All right, that line just went up by 1 point. Looking at the injury report for these two teams, Houston Rockets, game time decision, Alperen Sengun. Steven Adams, game time decision, Jabari Smith still out. And then for Memphis Grizzlies, Vince Williams out, Marcus Smart out, and Cam Spencer out. All right, now, these two teams have been pretty red hot, winning 4 out of the last 5 games on both sides here. Grizzlies losing to the Knicks by a blowout fashion by 37 points. And then the Rockets losing to Detroit, but going on a run there, beating Cleveland twice, Boston, and then Atlanta. So a very, very impressive run here by the Houston Rockets. They're really hitting their stride. But for this particular matchup between these two teams, Grizzlies and the Houston Rockets, this is it's a triple narrative here. They have lost. The Memphis Grizzlies have lost to the Houston Rockets 3 games in a row this season. And this is the 4th and final matchup here. These totals, if we're looking at them, 236, 234, and then 238. So it's really right around that number. We're not much leeway happening here. This particular spot, which I'm looking at, where we have like quadruple narrative, triple narrative, whichever you want to take, because Rockets covered, then Rockets covered again as underdogs, and they didn't cover the third time, but they just outright won. All right, so I'm on the Grizzlies. I do not see this Grizzlies team now that is finally almost completely healthy here, losing to the Houston Rockets 4 times in a row this season. Give me the money line. I'm guaranteeing it. The Grizzlies will not lose to the Houston Rockets 4 times in a row this year. All right, give me the Grizzlies on the money line. Give me the Grizzlies to cover the minus 4.5. And for the total, there's no leeway. Yes, I can imagine them going back and forth scoring. These are some high numbers here, but it's literally right. There's no leeway. The highest was a 238. The total's at a 237. And I'm imagining here with the Memphis Grizzlies at home at the grindhouse here, they've seen this offense 3 times. There will be defensive adjustments here, and I can see the Memphis Grizzlies blowing out the Houston Rockets, getting their revenge here, and the Rockets just having a letdown game here, and it goes under. All right, so give me the under 237.5. In Moda Center here, Portland Trailblazers 18-29, going to be against Orlando Magic 24-24. Looking at the current odds for this game here, Orlando Magic here, road favorites -210 with the comeback of the Trailblazers at a +170, point spread at a 5.5, total points at 212. All right, I'm gonna say this right now, you guys gotta, when you're paying attention and looking at these, some of these lines are like major red flags. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all. We're going to continue on. I'll tell you why. Full game public bet percentage here. No information as right now on the money line. But for the point spread, 61% of the bets, 56% of the money here. So very slightly on the side of Portland here. The underdogs at home. All right. This is a home dog here in the Portland Trailblazers. Total points here, 82% of the bets, 91% of the money on over 212.5. I would love to see that percentage of money line when it finally drops. But looking at the injury report here for these two teams, Orlando Magic, Gary Harris, game time decision. Jalen Suggs, game time decision. Moritz Wagner out for the year. This is a team in Orlando Magic that has been getting healthy, but it hasn't helped. All right. For Portland Trailblazers, game time decision on Jeremy Grant. And then Matisse Thybulle is out. All right. Now, when I just referred to these two teams here with the Orlando Magic, yeah, they're getting healthy. They got Wagner back. They got Paulo Banchero back. But this team sucks. I don't know. They haven't figured it out. They have been absolutely putrid here, losing to Miami in double overtime. They squeak by the Detroit Pistons here, get blown out by Portland, get blown out by Toronto, and they get blown out by Denver. All right. But you're telling me they're 5.5 point favorites on the road? I'm telling you right now, maybe, is it too much? Is it the record of the Portland Trailblazers? Is it the record? Maybe. But if you're looking at the Portland Trailblazers, they're trending in a very good direction, all right? They blew out Milwaukee. The only loss here in the last 4 games has been against OKC, and no one can stop OKC. They beat Charlotte, beat Orlando, beat Miami. This team, for some reason, in the Portland Trailblazers, is working. They have turned their season around, and they're hitting a little bit of a hot streak right before we get to the All-Star break here. And one of the players you need to talk about is Denny Advija. Alongside of Anthony Simons here and DeAndre Ayton, Denny Advija is really stepping into his own. His game is very similar to Luka Doncic. He's like a 99-cent version of him. He's the dollar version of Luka Doncic. That's Denny Advija coming out of Israel, and he's finally putting it all together. I wish Washington would have kept him, but now he's kind of prospering here in Portland right now, and I think this is value on the home dog here. Okay, I get it. Magic, they every time their lines come out, it's they're either favorited or it's a very favorable line because they have so much potential. But right now, it's just not working. And the Portland Trailblazers are hitting their stride right now. Give me the Trailblazers +5.5. And for the total points here, I'm going to lean towards the under 212.5. All right, under 212.5 in this particular spot. Magic have been struggling scoring, and I think the offense of the Trailblazers will be just enough here to get this win. All right, so Trailblazers +5.5, and then the under on 212.5. In Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse here, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers 38-9, going against the Atlanta Hawks 22-25. Looking at the current odds here for this game, we have Cavaliers as legitimate home favorites, -500 on the money line here, with the comeback of the Atlanta Hawks at a +375. Point spread at a 10.5. Total points at 238.5. Right now, no public bet percentage as of right now with this matchup here. Looking at the injury report really quick, starting off with the Atlanta Hawks. Bogdan Bogdanovic is out. Clint Capella is out. Trae Young is now a game-time decision. Jalen Johnson just had surgery and out for the year. And Cody Zeller is out. So this team is getting hammered here injury-wise for the Atlanta Hawks, and they're trending in a very bad direction right now. Cleveland Cavaliers trying to turn things around. For the injury report, Sam Merrill out. Darius Garland out. Karis LeVert, game-time decision. Isaac Okoro out. And Dean Wade out. So majority of these guys are backups. Obviously, Darius Garland is a guy you do want to play in this spot here, but he did miss the game on Wednesday, and they blew out the Heat by 20 points. All right, so with this team here in the Cavaliers, they still have plenty of guys here that can come through. Evan Mobley showed up. Jared Allen had a double-double. Donovan Mitchell had 34. They still got Max Strus, and they got George Niang here off the bench and Ty Jerome. So plenty of firepower here for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then in this spot here, going up against which has been a rival, in the Atlanta Hawks here. Atlanta Hawks have beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers twice already this year. The first game, this is with the Atlanta Hawks that was healthy. That was 259 points. Huge. That went over the total, obviously. And then the second game, again, in the NBA Cup here, 218 points. That was another blowout win by the Atlanta Hawks here. Now, all of a sudden, this Atlanta Hawks team is struggling and dealing with major injuries here. And they've lost 6 games in a row. All right, 6 games in a row. Lost to Houston, lost to Minnesota, lost to Toronto twice, lost to Detroit, and they have not been able to score. 96 points, 92 points, 94 points. Obviously, they scored 119 against Toronto. That was, they faced them twice there, and then they only scored 104 against Detroit. All right, so major concerns here. And then we have the Cavaliers trying to turn things around. A rough patch against Houston and Philadelphia was sandwiched in the middle, but they're bouncing back, showing their strength again, blowing out the Detroit Pistons, blowing out Miami. In this spot here, double revenge. Here, give me the Cavaliers at home. Give me the Cavaliers on the money line. Give me the Cavaliers minus 10.5. And I love the total under 238.5 in this particular spot. I think the Cavaliers can blow out this team, and the Hawks put up a very ugly number here, struggling to put points in the basket, especially if you're missing your main distributor here in Trae Young. Right now he is highly questionable here in this game for Thursday as well. Last but not least, here in Delta Center, we have the Utah Jazz 10-35 going against the Minnesota Timberwolves 25-21. Looking at the current odds for this one here, we're gonna have to go over to ESPN. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves on the money line at a minus 300, on the road with the comeback of the Utah Jazz here at a plus 250. The spread is at a 7.5, and the total is at 223.5. All right. Looking at the injury report for these two teams, Minnesota Timberwolves dealing with some injuries here. Naz Reid is out, who's been great off the bench here. Their backup center, their 6-man. Jesse Edwards is out, so they're missing 2 centers here. Dante DiVincenzo is out, and Terrence Shannon is out as well. For the Utah Jazz, Johnny Juzang, game time decision. Walker Kessler, game time decision. John Collins, game time decision. Cody Williams out, and Taylor Hendricks is out for the season. So we see some positives here for Utah. They could be getting back Johnny Juzang, Walker Kessler, and John Collins, not to mention the fact that they got Lauri Markkanen as well. Just Jazz team has been struggling. They're on a 7-game losing streak as of right now here. And then you have the Timberwolves red hot, beating Dallas, beating Denver, beating Atlanta. And right now they are winning, blowing out the Phoenix Suns. So this is a second game of a back-to-back. You got to watch out for spots like this here. Going from Phoenix to Utah here. Big win. If they hold on to this lead here by 12, they're going to have to travel over to Utah here and face, obviously, a lesser talented team here in the Utah Jazz, but definitely someone that is going to show up no matter what. And you got to play in high altitude on the second game of a back-to-back. So that's asking a lot right there. So automatically, I'm on the plus 7.5 for the Utah Jazz. Second game of a back-to-back We're going over to high altitude. That's a sneaky spot. You can get caught up right there, especially if public is going to be all over Minnesota here, especially with the Utah Jazz that have struggled to win games at home. They're 3-16 at home. I think the value is on the Utah Jazz. I'm not saying money line, but definitely give me the points in this spot here. I'll play it safe. Give me the plus 7.5. And for the total, we're going to go under the 223.5. Like I said, second game of back-to-back going to high altitude could definitely affect a high-scoring type of total here in this spot between these two teams. And if the Jazz are going to have any opportunity to win this game or stay in the game, they're going to need to limit points and limit baskets. So Jazz plus 7.5 and the under on the 223.5. That's going to be the breakdown for the Thursday slate. Let me know in that comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We can definitely debate about that down below. If you guys want to sign up for the Patreon and get winning plays, click on that link in the description section. You're getting access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes out 24/7. This is your boy Chef D. I'll be back very soon, and peace out.